Hey guys, this is Josh over at Point Zero Games. Here with a deck tech for you today to show off the bug deck that I've been running for about the last month at F&M. A couple of things. First off, sorry for the shadow in here. My lighting setup is not the greatest. And second of all, I'm sorry if this goes in and out of focus. It shouldn't, but we never know. This will also all be at an angle, so I'm sorry about that as well. Now, to move forward, the deck itself is the best archetype I could give you would be that it's a mid-range deck, even though it's not necessarily a mid-range deck. It actually starts playing threats a little bit faster than what a mid-range deck usually will do. It really is more about tempo and just having answers for stuff. That's really what I built the deck around. So let's go ahead and look over everything so that way you guys can get an idea of what's in the deck. So first off, we've got 4 Sylvan Caryatids for our creature base. It's a 2-drop 0/3 mana dork. Gives us mana fixing so that way we can make sure that we've got the colors we need to be able to cast the cards that we want. Second of all, we have the Brain Maggot. We have 2 of on that. It's a 2-drop 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, Thoughtseize. Typically, we're going to sideboard this card out by the time that the second round comes up. The real reason that we have it in the main board is for being able to get a little bit of hand reading right off the bat. We can see what they've got in their hand, see what their ideal hand would look like, or something close to their ideal hand, and then be able to try and tempo it out a little bit so that way we can start working our deck a little harder. Like I said, typically you're going to sideboard these out in the second round to add in a little bit of removal, and we'll take a look at the sideboard in just a few moments here. Next, we have Master of the Feast and Herald of Torment. Both of these are 3-drop flyers. Master of the Feast is a 5/5. Herald of Torment is a 3/3 that bestows for 5 to give an enchanted creature 3/3 and flying. So, Master of the Feast is really our big bomb here. He's, instead of running Desecration Demon, we've got something that comes out a little bit faster, just as fat, still takes care of blocking against the Storm Breath Dragon. Doesn't block out a Desecration Demon, but if you want to combo him with a Herald of Torment, that's a little less of a problem. Now, these 2 cards do offer us a little bit of a disadvantage. The Master of the Feast is going to offer up a little bit of card draw to our opponent, while the Herald of Torment is going to make us lose 1 life at the beginning of each of our upkeeps. The life loss can be somewhat detrimental on Herald of Torment if we're taking too much damage early on, but the Master of the Feast does make up for it by offering us a 4-turn clock by the time he hits the board. So if somebody doesn't have a response for that guy, he typically ends up getting out of control pretty fast, and with the Herald of Torment comboed on top of him, it just makes it that more deadly. Now, if you feel like not putting the Herald of Torment on the Master of the Feast, we have a couple of other cards we can focus on. Here we have 3 of on Courser Crewfix, and we have 2 of on a Reaper of the Wilds. The Courser Crewfix is a 3-drop 2/4 creature, and really it's there for 2 purposes. One is for deck cycle, so that way we can burn through our cards a little bit quicker by getting the land off of the top and making our draw step a little bit more worthwhile on our upkeep. And 2 is for life gain. It negates the life loss that we have off of Herald of Torment, so it ends up helping us just a little bit more. Typically this card gets Mizziumed out or Abrupt Decayed whenever I play, and I don't really have a problem with them getting rid of it because they're just wasting removal on something that probably don't need to waste the removal on. With Reaper of the Wilds, it's a 2 of solely because it's a little high cost for what I want in the deck. I've considered taking out the Herald of Torments and throwing another Reaper of the Wilds and another creature in there, and I'll show you that in a moment. But it's a 4-drop 4/5. It gives you some deck cycle whenever another creature dies, so if you are able to get some type of mass wipe or kill multiple creatures, it's really good for deck cycle to help with Courser Crewfix a little bit. You can also give it Death Touch and Hexproof, so you can keep it sticking to the board and you can use it to take out really big creatures. Next 2 cards, which will complete our creatures, we have Prognostic Sphinx at a 2 of and Grey Merchant of Asphodel as a 1 of. Now, the other Herald of Torment, if I were to take that out, I'd probably put in an extra Grey Merchant or a Prog Sphinx. I haven't really been able to decide on that yet, and I need to play test that just a little bit deeper. But so far, the combo that I have here works out pretty well. Prognostic Sphinx is a 5-drop 3/5 with flying. The reason that he's good for this deck is that he offers us hexproof yet again, and we just have to discard a card to make that happen. But it's really about the Scry 3 on his attack. He's not going to hit for very much, but it still is a little bit of a clock whenever it's on the board. He's really hard to remove, and when he does swing, we're going to be able to deck cycle a little bit more to set up a good card draw, and then also a land off the top, which we can then also set up further to combo with another card that we have in this deck. So he's just a really good thing to have in the air. More evasion is also very strong for us. The biggest part is that he is 5 on the ass, which means that we're not going to have to worry about him getting Miziumed out, and he can block Stormbreath Dragon whenever Stormbreath is in the air. Grey Merchant of Asphodel is a 5-drop 2/4. We have that in here really because we're going to be putting down Master of the Feast, Reaper of the Wilds. We have a couple other cards in here that are black permanents. So Grey Merchant should typically hit for about 5 whenever he enters the battlefield. It's a good amount of life gain for us. It gives us a chump blocker on the board. But the biggest thing is it does help to get a little bit of life loss off of our opponent as well. Moving into our control package, specifically it's a removal package. We have Abrupt Decay at a 2 of. We have Golgari Charm at a 1 of, and Dissolve at a 1 of. Abrupt Decay is going to be a 2-drop that can't be countered, and we destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less when it enters. So that's really powerful for us because it helps us to stop blitz aggro, but it also gets rid of some of the staple threats that are in standard, such as Brahmaz, Domri Raid, Detention Sphere, and even lower drop things than that. So it really does offer us a lot of capability. Banishing Light actually is a really big one that I use that on a lot. Golgari Charm gives us the ability to -1/-1 all creatures on the board, so that is detrimental to our Brain Maggot, but typically by the time that we would use this, whatever card Brain Maggot has probably doesn't matter that much at this point. That's really going to be for Elspeth tokens. Also to destroy target enchantment, which, in an enchantment-heavy format like Standard right now, that's really, really pertinent for us. It does not get rid of gods, but we have stuff in the sideboard to take care of that. And then also you can regenerate each of the creatures you control. So you can just chump block with Brain Maggot and Sylvan Caryatid and a bunch of stuff and be able to regen them and keep them on the board while avoiding taking a little bit of damage. The Dissolve is a 3-drop counter spell. Scry 1, so it gives us a little bit of deck cycle. Really, we have that in the deck to take care of Elspeth, Great Merchant of Asphodel, Fanatic of Mogus, anything with an enter the battlefield type of condition. Next, we have our big removals. These are our 3 drops, 2 Putrefies, and 3 Heroes Downfalls. Putrefy, sorry about the shakiness, my hand is getting a little tired. So Putrefy, we have this in here for anything that would have regions. So Experiment 1, Deathbellow Raiders, and Lotleth Troll are really the 3 that we're focusing on the most with that. But also it's good creature removal and it's artifact removal, so we can get rid of Hall of Triumph, which is starting to show up a lot now. We can also get rid of Pithing Needle. We can get rid of what's the other? Whip of Erebos. Get rid of Whip of Erebos, which is really, really, really important whenever you're playing against the mono black or anybody that's running that, especially against a Reanimator deck. With Hero's Downfall, it's 3-drop, destroy creature, Planeswalker. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's standard removal if you're splashing black. Next, we have 2 of on Silence the Believers and 3 of on Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. The 2 of on Silence the Believers, it's a 4-drop instant exile removal for creatures and all auras that are attached to them. Meanwhile, it strives for 3, so we can actually cast that to get rid of more things. This is really going to be more of an in-game removal thing, but it's also great if somebody gets one of their gods online. We can go ahead and get rid of him. It also helps us to stop anything that gets enchanted with Boon Satyr, Herald of Torment, Eidolon of Countless Battles, Ghost Blade Eidolon, any type of creature that gets bestowed on it. We can get rid of that with little to no problems. With Ashiok, it is actually a really big threat for this deck. It's a 3-drop Planeswalker, +2 for the ability to exile the top 3 cards of the opponent's library. And then you can -X to pull creatures that you've exiled based on their converted mana cost and put them onto the battlefield. So the reason that I put Grey Merchant in this deck was because I ended up Ashioking a Grey Merchant. It worked fantastic, but it's another way to get some creatures on the board, which is why we run 2 of on some creatures, 3 of on some creatures, and you know, don't run like 4 deep on a bunch of that stuff. Rarely you'll ever alter, but if you do, then it's probably good game for somebody. Lastly, we have Kiora the Crashing Wave and Vraska the Unseen. Kiora we run it at 2 of because it's not detrimental to it's not the exact planeswalker that we want to see. There's a lot of stuff in here that we want to see before that, but it does give damage prevention to the it prevents damage from the enemy. It gives us the chance to be able to put damage prevention on our own guy and use him as a chump blocker like Brain Maggot. And it also gives us card draw and the ability to play additional lands off of coursers. So it's a really good way to deck cycle as well. And you can use the ult. The 9/9 Krakens definitely help out. Vraska is a 5-drop planeswalker. You're never going to see the assassins. It's almost pointless. You can +1 just to potentially destroy a creature. Really, it's about the -3 to destroy a target non-land permanent. And so that's the main board. Like I said, it's a lot of very basic controls. And with the sideboard, we can actually pull out, you know, some stuff. Like I said, we'll take out Brain Maggot, take out Herald of Torment every once in a while, just because if I'm playing against something where I'm going to lose a lot of life, I don't really want to lose more life than necessary. So there are options to take out for the sideboard. So let's take a look at that sideboard real fast. We have 1 Doomwake Giant. It's a 5-drop 4/6 Constellation enchantment creature. When it enters the battlefield, opponents' creatures get -1/-1. Really great for Elspeth tokens to take care of them, but also just to help prevent a little bit of damage if you have something that will help. You're not going to have anything instant speed that will work. We also have another Golgari Charm. Again, you know, just for safety. We've got a Bile Blight, 2-drop black. Target creature and all creatures with the same name get -3/-3 until end of turn. We can use that to get rid of Satyr tokens if we want off of Xenagos, but also just to get rid of like Skoozes. You know, it's also really good against Elspeth tokens if need be. Next we have 2 Mistcutter Hydras. This is for the blue matchup. It can't be countered. It's pro blue haste. Put this out at about 5 or 6 1/1 counters, and it should be a pretty quick clock that is very difficult to answer. Duress is at a 2 of in the sideboard. That's a 1-drop. Standard in everything. It's Thoughtseize, except you can't take a creature. So that's going to be mainly for the control matchup, and also it works really well against mono black to just get rid of a Hero's Downfall they may have in their hand. A couple of additional removal spells that we have to go against any form of blitz aggro. We have Dark Betrayal, which is a 1-drop destroy target black creature. Ultimate Price, which is a 2-drop destroy monocolor creature, and another Abrupt Decay. Again, just low drops to get rid of blitz aggro if we need to. We also happen to have these 3 in here. We run 2 of on Rapid Hybridization. We run 2 of on Fade into Antiquity. 1 of on Dissolve and 1 of on Negate. Negate is really great against the Elspeth matchup, as is Dissolve. So anybody splashing white, definitely pull those in. We have 2 Rapid Hybrids. That takes care of Blood Baron. It's a 1-drop destroy target creature. They get a 3/3. And then we have Fade into Antiquity to exile out any gods that may give us a problem. So with the last few minutes, let's look at the land base that we have here. We're running 2 Overgrown Tombs. We have 4 Breeding Pools. We have 2 Mana Confluence, 4 Temple of Maladies, and then we also have 2 Temple of Deceits, 3 Watery Graves, 1 Temple of Mystery, and then we run 2 basic swamps and 4 basic forests in the deck. This gives us a really strong mana curve, and I've yet to have it fail on me except for once, and that was more just my bad on shuffling. So overall, the deck performs really well. This thing I usually see a 3-1 at F&M. Sometimes I see in 2-2, but I haven't had a losing record with it so far. Really fantastic deck, lots of fun to play. So that's the deck. You can check the link in the bottom of the bottom description. That will go to my tapped out page that will give you a full list of everything that is featured in this deck. You can like me on there, follow me or whatever. If you like this video, hit the like button. Give me some comments in the bottom. Tell me what you think about the deck overall. And last but not least, hit subscribe so that way you can keep up to date on all the videos that we're going to be putting here on Point Zero Games. So without any further ado, my name is Josh. This is Point Zero Games. Thank you for watching and have a spectacular day, ladies and gentlemen.